Ah, isn't this nostalgic? Long-time viewers, otherwise known as Matt, will remember that this game was the subject of the first video I ever made. Isn't it nostalgic? Think of all the fantastic jokes I made. Actually, I can't. Never mind, think of how much happier those times were. Actually, 2013 was a shit year. Never mind, think of how much more fresh-faced and innocent I was. Actually, I don't think I've ever been fresh-faced. Shall we give up? I think so. FFTO was released in 2003. Ha! Suck it past me! And everyone at the time thought it was quite good, owing largely to the fact that it was. In fact, if there's any game that I'd like to see ported to the PC, it's this one, though that probably won't happen because that would alleviate the crushing ennui that I feel towards Square Enix after they optimised FF13, about as well as I engender feelings of affection. But why is it that FFTA was actually good? Good question, Rob. Should we go about answering it? I think so, Rob. Let's start with the story. Once again, we find ourselves in Ivalice, but this time we got here from what I assume is a small town in Alpine France by way of a magic book. Our main cast are a socially inept idiot, a girl with anger issues, a kid targeted by bullies, his failing assassin father, and a stuffed toy. Whilst this cast doesn't exactly sound stellar, it does allow for some interesting explorations of their flaws, and they all come across as relatively human, reacting in ways that I myself might actually react to situations were I in them, which is nice. The story itself is also quite good fun, taking us across the world of Ivalice as we try to find a way back to our home, Marche apparently being really attached to his home in the real world, whilst I still have my fingers crossed that the multiverse is a thing, and if it is, I am so hopping on the first ship out of here. Maybe Marche's just worried he left the gas on. Nevertheless, Marche's journey is a good one to hang an adventure plot around, as it involves him having to beat up increasingly intimidating foes before we can finally strike the killing blow at the last thread holding this fantasy world that we live in together. A second thing that made this game memorable is the gameplay. It took the system that Tactics used and nicely took the edge off the early stages of the game, making for a fun experience throughout. Not a challenging one, mind. There are about 5 battles in the entire game that actually pose a challenge, and the rest you can slide through like an eel through a lubricated burrow. I've just been advised to say. I have a couple of other minor gripes actually, come to think of it. First, I'd like it to be known that the Moogle Gunner with damage to MP absolutely sweeps the award for Smuggest Moogle of 2003 and would have also won the 2003 generally Smuggest Cunt award were it not for Doned. Also, I'd like to make it perfectly clear that the monsters that you keep in the Monster Bank are the most entitled shits in the entire fucking world, fictional or otherwise. But not wishing to end on a down note, the music from this game has to be in the top 3 from the entire franchise, and that's saying something, since this is the franchise that has given us One Winged Angel, Xanacant, Terra's Theme, the Prelude through its many iterations, and of course the Gold Saucer. On reflection, I'd rather forget that one.